Hello, Mallards. It is Monday, and I have decided that today I'm not doing much of anything because I'm tired from vacation, right? What a weird concept. Isn't vacation supposed to make you feel rested? It does not make me feel rested. So today I'm spending the day with Grandma, catching up on things like folding laundry and getting stuff put away, and I thought I'd talk to you about episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5 of Agatha all along because I watched them to and from Hawaii on the plane. So I thought I'd run through these notes. They're a little bit less because I was watching on the plane, so it's a little bit harder to take notes in the same way that I do when I have the option of my laptop to tippity tap. But we're going to dive right into episode 2, where the first thing I wrote was, I didn't know the episode 1 title. Are they all rhymes? I really like the rhymes. And also the teen is so cute, and I love his use of the word egregious. And then finding out that he's hexed. But it's maybe not, hex is maybe the wrong word. He has a sigil placed over him so that Agatha can't learn his name or anything about him. Was interesting. And so at this point, I started to wonder, are you maybe this kid Agatha's been looking for? Then when she's getting the car and then she realizes that the thing in her living room, not a car, hilarious. I love that so much. Just the leftover of the hex she was put under. So freaking fun. And then teen gets a call from a boy. The boy who likes him and who worries because he's gay. Which then also made me think, what if he's Wiccan? Because Wiccan, canonically gay. And then there are a lot of really good lines in the show. I really liked, what witch in her right mind would join Agatha Harkness's coven? To which she responds, I'm not looking for right-minded witches. Such a good line. Such a way to go. You tell them, Agatha. You tell them that you are not looking for right-minded witches. I support you. Lila is delightful. Her powers are interesting. Everything that she did was really, really fun. And I super enjoyed that. Also, when Agatha was like, I can't steal your power if you don't attack me. That was interesting. I guess I didn't realize that was a restriction on her powers. But it does make it fascinating. So I'll be curious to see how that goes moving forward. And then she goes to pick up Jen, who I also adore. The whole edible candles thing, I don't know how I feel about that. That was weird. But Sisterhood of the Traveling Kegels, hilarious. Yet again, great lines, all written wonderfully and all delivered by Catherine Hahn with just impeccable flair. I also really loved how vicious the teen was in defending Agatha. That was really, really cute. And once again, we're back to the writing with lines like, historically, we as a group don't do well in courtrooms. It's so good. And then they got to the last thing on the list, and Agatha ate the list rather than telling teen who the last person was, which was also hilarious. And then we saw, first we saw a crow, and then a rat. And obviously, the Salem 7 are creatures. So I was like, a bat, a cat, a rabbit, a toad? I'm not sure. We do eventually meet them all, but I was at that point debating what creatures they might be. Then we met Alice, who's a Bamf. An absolute Bamf. All of these witches are just fire and wonderful. And then my next comment just says, this coat. Agatha's coat, also fire. Oh yeah. And then a coyote, which was not on my list. And then it says that the last witch on her list wasn't a name, it was a black heart. And we all know who that is because she's gay for Rio. But of course, she's like, oh, yeah, it means Mrs. Hart. So then she goes to get the very clear non-witch Sharon Davis, who she just calls Mrs. Hart, and takes her. And then they sing the Ballad of the Witch's Road, and that song, still a banger. And them singing it in that basement, amazing. And Sharon Davis trying to follow along and being like, do we all know this song? Also great. She really sticks it out for somebody who has no idea where she is and is definitely feeling left out. And I admire her for that. Then the 7 shows up. But good news, they escape onto the Witch's Road. And immediately, I'm in love with the aesthetic of the Witch's Road. The like glowing roots, the way that the trees are, the whole everything about it. I would 100% live on that set. It's so freaking cool. Also, there's a no shoes rule, which I really enjoyed. Then we move on to episode 3, where Sharon Davis really shines as a member of the Historical Society of Westview, where she's upset about this underground tunnel because this can't possibly exist. It shouldn't be there. And we find out that they're going to face a series of their worst nightmares as trials, which always a good time. And I really like that Teen is like, yeah, but you don't need magic. You know, we can do witchcraft, focusing on the craft part of it. And I really, really loved that. I also liked the rules for the road. I also wrote down, there are so many feet in this show because they just did a lot of showing their feet because they were walking barefoot, and it was really funny. And then we get into our first trial where everybody gets fancy new outfits to go with the fancy beach house where they are, and a countdown starts and they open a bottle of wine and everyone is poisoned. And poison is fun. Especially the illusions that came along with it. So we get to like learn a little bit of history of the witches, and I enjoyed that part. I thought that dynamic was really fun. And of course, Agatha didn't drink the wine to begin with because that's who she is, but did eventually because she had to. And then you see Mrs. Hart have her illusion, which is like her begging Wanda to stop her husband from dying, and whew, man, terrifying. Sometimes you forget that although Wanda was like really going through it and having a rough time, she was not nice to the people of Westview. My favorite thing about this is that in this episode, Jen has to make a potion to save everybody from the poison. And they use ridiculous names for all of these basic ingredients. Like, for example, the gut of eusocial insect is just honey. And I love that, and I kind of want to use it forever. You know what you need? The gut of eusocial insect. And there was just so much fun. Glowing stuff and like the potion lighting up and how all of the lights were done. I really enjoyed it aesthetically. I also liked seeing Agatha. So Agatha's illusion is that like a baby is crying. And then when she found the crib, just in it was the Darkhold. And there is this rumor that she gave up her child for the Darkhold, which I think might be true. This is when I started to say, maybe the teen is her child. But it had such escape room vibes that I really enjoyed. But then sadly, poor Mrs. Hart, she didn't make it. My note literally just says, poor Mrs. Hart, you should have taken Rio. And little did I know, getting to the next episode, that they were going to summon a green witch to replace the green witch they lost. And boom, there's Rio in all of her glory. Her instruments, fire. Her giving a little plant to Agatha, gay. Absolutely wonderful. She is the Green Witch, which I thought was an interesting emphasis, like the Scarlet Witch. So I will be curious to know if there are other colors, and maybe, is that a thing in Marvel that I'm just not aware of? Like, are there other color witches? Like, there's the Scarlet Witch, because that's a thing. I don't know that that's a thing in comics, but that's a thing that they've definitely had in the MCU, that it's the Scarlet Witch, not just like a Scarlet Witch. So the fact that Rio is the Green Witch is interesting. I also, yet again, loved the other witches being like, do I hate her or do I want her phone number? And Alice was like, yes. And absolutely, the answer to that is unequivocally yes. Gosh, Aubrey Plaza is just incredible in this role. She was made to play this role. It's everything about it is wonderful. A beautiful house, and all of the outfits are so hot. Like, so hot. These women smoking in this entire trial. Like, Catherine Hahn looks incredible, and everybody else also looks incredible. The outfits are so good. And then Agatha and Rio have a moment where they're like, it could be like old times, work and play, because they're gay. Very gay. And it's obvious to me that Rio is a psycho, but I love her. I love her so much. And then learning that Alice's mom created her version of the Ballad of the Witch's Road, which has like different lyrics in it, to be a protection spell to protect her daughter from the curse, so that like somebody would always be singing it because it's such a popular hit, that it would continue to protect her daughter. And that's actually really beautiful. Like, that use of magic is really sweet. Rio on the drums, great. And I love that we are getting this different version of the Ballad of the Witch's Road as a badass ballad that they use to defeat a demon. And then Teen gets injured, which is a little bit terrifying. And Agatha really, really cares. And then they're all recovering, and the witches are having a nice, sweet chat about all of the silly things that people say about witches and all the things they do or don't do. And my favorite bit is when Rio just like dead looks at people and she's like, you guys don't have extra nipples? Oh, I'm covered in nipples. Want to see? Like, why is she the best? And how does Aubrey Plaza deliver these lines with such sincerity? That's such a talent. And then I also really like that, like, Lila has a vampire boyfriend. And then we're talking about scars. And Rio is clearly talking about Agatha, and she says she is my scar because gay. And then I wrote, come on, let them kiss, you absolute cowards. Because they were so close to kissing, but then Rio had to, like, ruin it. By being like, that kid isn't yours. And obviously, then I'm back on this kid is totally Wiccan, because he's got the looks and the boyfriends, and also Young Avengers. Sorry, something caught in my throat that I really want to exist in this world. And then we get to episode 5, which has me all caught up with where current lines are. I'm still mad at Rio for stopping the kiss. And once again, have I mentioned I love the aesthetics of the Witch's Road. Everything about it is beautiful. And also learning that the Salem 7 are the children of the coven that Agatha killed is interesting. Like, that's a fascinating turn. I also really like her being like, the moral of the story, kids, is always finish what you started. And also, mercy is overrated. Another fantastic Agatha line delivered by Catherine Hahn. And then they like make brooms to fly away, and I love that the brooms are only enchanted in exchange, so you have to like do a spell for someone else, which obviously makes the Agatha Rio tension real high, y'all. And they fly above the pretty red moon, which I really loved. And then they crash back to Earth because, of course, the road will not let you fly away. And then they end up in a 90s sleepover, which I really enjoyed, where they had to play with a Ouija board. Or maybe 80s. It's a little tough for me to tell. 80s or 90s sleepover. Where, of course, they had to play with a Ouija board and summon a spirit. And it turned out that spirit was Agatha's mom. And Agatha was like, oh no. And Agatha's mom was like, I want revenge on her. Just leave her here. And most of the witches were like, yeah, all right, we'll do that. And then her mom was really, really mean. And I love Rio being like, no, we can't leave her behind. And everyone's like, ma'am, you were going to cut her throat 6 seconds ago. And she was like, yeah, I want to kill her, but her mom can't have her. And honestly, we stand that level of obsession out here. So that was very enjoyable. And then Alice tried to save Agatha, and Agatha sucked all of her power and killed her. Because that's what Agatha does. And then she claimed that she couldn't control it. And we also hear like a kid screaming at Agatha to stop. And I think maybe she sucked her kid's power away. I don't know. We'll find that out later. Anyway, it seems for a moment that she can't control it, but then she's like smiling later, so maybe she can control it. And all the witches get mad at her. And then Agatha says this like, you're just like your mother thing, which led me to believe that, yes, clearly he is Wiccan and Billy. And then Teen gets mad and he has power. And I was like, he is Wiccan. Like, he's gotta be. I'm lit. And he like summons his power and he shoves all the witches away and he crackles and he gets the Wiccan, like the same sort of crown that like Wanda has on his forehead. And I just wrote, yeah, you get your mama and your brother and your boyfriend and you bring me the Young Avengers, baby. But then my final note is actually, Rio was oddly absent from that entire last encounter. Just saying. And also she was giving Alice a look. So I guess I'll have to wait and see what happens in the next episode. But I'm so excited. I am loving Agatha all along. I feel like it's all of the things I really enjoy. And I know that some people are going to be like, oh, but it's not really MCU. Like, where are the superheroes? Blah, 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 blah. This is what I love about Marvel, is that we can be over here having this little witchy story, but also over here having your classic superhero adventure, and all of them are awesome. But some of them are less gay than others, and I like how gay this one is. So I hope that you are enjoying Agatha all along, and I can't wait for the next episode. I'll see you tomorrow.